Hi everybody. I have no plan. I didn't write any notes. I'm just recording this off the cuff because I have an opportunity to. I just got off the phone there with Mark Whitehand. And for anybody who doesn't know Mark, you've been under a rock for a while and you need to go and check out his page called The Storytelling Entrepreneurs. If you're into my stuff, you'll absolutely be into his stuff. And during this amazing conversation that I had with him, he was reminding me of the first conversation I ever had with him. And one of those things was not pretending to be somebody else. So if you are in a position where you are putting on an accent in certain situations, now everybody has a phone voice. The phone voice is fine. I definitely try and speak more clearly when I'm recording, but there's no denying where I'm from. And in actual fact, my mum recently watched a video of mine. She only ever watched one video, and my mum's feedback was, "You're very Dublin." And do you know what? I'm actually from Dublin, and that's okay. So I'm not going to pretend to be from a snobby part of Dublin. I'm from Dublin 5. I am who I am, and I'm never going to pretend to be anybody else. But the one thing that Mark, and this actually ties back into the accent thing as well, the one thing that Mark reminded me of was there was a gentleman that I used to work for, and when I was moving company, I was leaving this company, there was a party thrown for me, and he made an announcement about me at the end of the night. And it was kind of like an outer body experience. You're not used to receiving that level of compliments from people, and it was uncomfortable for me to hear. And I suppose a lot of people I would have been working with at the time would have been very well educated, and they were all from nice parts of the south side of Dublin, whereas I was the rough north side girl who kept it real in the office and bossed them all around. But the one thing that he said that will stick out in my mind forever is he asked me to never ever stop using the word "remember." Now, I'm sure that I've spoken about this before in videos, but I wasn't aware that I said "remember" until this guy John pointed it out to me. And "remember" basically is "do you remember?" But because I'm from where I'm from, it kind of just all rolls into one, and I'm busy and I need to get stuff done quickly. So "do you remember" went into "remember." So thank you, Mark, for reminding me of that situation with John, my old boss. And I will never, ever stop using the word "remember" in his honour, really, and in mine. But another thing that I wanted to share, which is, and this is part of being your authentic self and not pretending to be somebody that you're not. If you are like being a chameleon in certain circles, if you are pretending to be more gentle or pretending to be more out there or aggressive or shy or whatever, if you are not being your true personality in all situations, it is going to come back and bite you on the arse at some point. Because there's a friend of mine going through a situation at the moment, and when she's trying her best to plumose somebody else, and it's really not suiting her. But when she approaches this situation and tells this other person who she is plumossing really how she feels, the other person's going to be completely blindsided and is not going to get the reasons why she did this in the first instance. Now, the reason why this person's doing this is for protection. She's trying to protect everybody. But if you're not being real in all situations, you're kind of going around having false relationships, and you're actually drawing negative energy to yourself. Another thing that I wanted to share in this video, that has absolutely no rhyme or reason to it, I'm just rambling at this stage, is that I've never ever believed from a very young age, and I don't know where this came from, but I've never ever believed in the hierarchy system. I do not believe that any one person is better than anybody else. And where this came to fruition and where it raised its ugly head one day was actually in the middle of an interview for a job. My agent at the time asked me to go for an interview for a job in Trinity College, and I didn't want to go. I didn't want to work in the college. I had no interest in changing careers that drastically because I was in IT at the time. And when I went into the office, there was 3 professors and all of their names was Michael. But they wanted to be referred to as Professor and their surname. And in the interview, They clearly had never met anybody like me before. But in the interview, I said to them, "You'll be Michael, you'll be Michael, you'll be Michael, and I will be Nicola. Is that okay?" And one of the professors nearly died. He just couldn't believe that I wouldn't refer to him as professor. The other professor went into shock. And the last professor broke his heart laughing and thought this was the most hilarious thing that he had ever heard. Now, I made a lot of demands in that room that day. In my opinion, they were unrealistic demands. But when I left that interview, and I only went for the interview as a favour to my agent because she had nobody else on that particular day to go for the job. But lots of other people had applied for it. But she needed representation from her agency. By the time I had left the college and walked across Front Square, I'd gotten a call from the college with them not only offering me the job and not only meeting the demands that I had, and I made big demands in the office that day, they had exceeded my demands. And this is a pure example of when you are your authentic self, the world comes to meet you. I was shocked that day that I had gotten what I'd asked for and more. But if I had went in there and pretended to be somebody else, I wouldn't have got it, and I probably wouldn't have got the job. So my advice to you guys is have a little look in all of your lives about how you're showing up. You know, when you're being your most authentic self, when you're sitting in your pajamas on your sofa with your husband or your wife or your partner, whoever it is. When you are speaking to them, you're speaking to them honestly and candidly and from the heart. But are you being like that in all of your life, in all of your areas, in your career, with your children, with people that you meet in the street, the person who checks out your shopping in the supermarket? Are you being your authentic self evenly and everywhere? And never pretend to be anybody else that you're not. So take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Slán.